This is Derek Chamblee, broadcasting from Chamblee, Atlanta, the next great American city. Battleground Zero, the epicenter of the 2017 civil defense of the United States of America. It's Monday, winding up on 11:30 in the morning. Monday, July 3rd, the day before Independence Day celebration, the 4th of July. And we're going to be commenting on a breaking story from CNSnews.com. Just a few minutes ago, the headline is CNN commentator on Trump's tweets. It is a modern day one flew over the cuckoo's nest. At any rate, the article is written by Melanie Arter of the CNSnews.com. And I'm going to skip down in the article to the response to the violent takedown and beating tweet of President Donald Trump yesterday of CNN. And she's writing an article about the CNN interview of Homeland Security Advisor Tom BOSSERT. And I'm going to skip down in the article. BOSSERT defended the tweet, saying that there are a lot of cable news shows, quote, a lot of cable news shows that reach directly into hundreds of thousands of viewers. And they're really not always very fair to the president. So I'm proud of the president for developing a tweeter and a social media platform where he can talk directly to the American people. And he goes on, he adds, quote, whatever the content of that particular tweet is, or any tweet, he's demonstrated a genuine ability to communicate to the people, unquote. BOSSERT added that Trump's tweet was, quote, certainly not, unquote, a threat, and he didn't think anyone would, quote, perceive that as a threat, unquote. And the interesting thing is that Homeland Security has a plan that they've crafted that's coming up out of the Central Command, Homeland Security out of Tampa, Florida, where Tom BOSSERT is coming out of that Central Command. He's coming out of the Bush administration, George W. Bush, and just during the time as well that his brother Jeb Bush was governor of Florida. And sometime right around the time of the 2000 Super Bowl in Tampa, facial recognition was beginning to be developed and used. And after the 9/11 attacks, the facial recognition really is being used more and more and more. And there is a plan to crush the protesters, crush the protests. Also yesterday, all over the country, many cities, the marchers were out protesting for the impeachment of President Trump. And so the plan is to use facial recognition to jail and detain the protesters from the different groups and whatnot as potential enemy combatants in the war on terror. And so this is very interesting that Tom BOSSERT on this show said this about a tweet that carries that kind of violent threat. And we know that in the 2016 presidential campaign, quite often the candidate Donald Trump would encourage his supporters to really carry out violence against the anti-Trump supporters. So we're really looking at how incredible it is that he would say this is not a threat. Later in the article, Navarro, that interviewed him for CNN, responded to Bossert's comments about the tweet, saying she was, quote, disappointed beyond belief, unquote, by his answer, and called Bossert, a bad name. Quote, I am disappointed beyond belief by the answer that the Homeland Security Advisor just gave. What a, and she's calling him a bad word. You could see that he is ceding his principles, unquote, she said. And quote, you are the Homeland Security Advisor and you can't stand here and say the difference between right and wrong question. That's what's part of the problem, unquote. This is Derek Chamblee. It's been raining part of the morning here in Chamblee, Atlanta, and we're coming up to the 4th of July celebration, and at any rate, we're hoping that this message gets through to the different protest groups that there is a plan eventually to crush these protests and jail and detain protesters utilizing facial recognition. Tom Bossert with Homeland Security was involved in cybersecurity and counterterrorism. This is Derek Chamblee, CyberCitizen Network. Thank you very much. Good morning.